please.
Ice back.
You have speed? Here we go, Brian. 3, 2, 1, and rolling.
How do?
Well, howdy. I was going to say Jim Carrey. You know, it's very funny sitting in front of you because we have Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls.
Yes.
And I was going to say, Ace is back, his hair's in place, and so's his attitude. Then I walk in, and
You
you've
see
got
the
this
poster.
cut.
Oh, yeah.
What is this new look, Jim?
You know, my head is a constant experiment. It really is. Between projects, I go through 5 looks between projects because you never know when something will pop up that I go, well, I like that. That's interesting. Let me use that in something. So I really do. I go, it's a nice summer cut, too.
Yes, it is.
It's not summer, but
Well, it is somewhere in the
we
world.
wish. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something. At what point did you know that there would be an Ace Ventura 2 When Nature Calls?
Opening weekend of Ace 1.
Who picked up the phone? When did it become a reality?
Well, I mean, I had signed a deal to do both movies when I did the first one, so I knew if it was anything, you know, worth doing again, they would do it again. So, yeah, I knew it was going to happen. But I was glad actually that I got to do some other things, you know, in between.
So was everyone else, particularly Warner Brothers and Morgan Creek.
Yeah.
Why Africa?
Because I guess there's a little part of me that has always wanted to go there. The animal thing, you know, I think, you know, the Tarzan movies growing up, you know, all the animals. Also, I wanted to go international, you know, because Ace to me is like Bond, you know. So I wanted it to have a little more international implication to it.
Is that why you've managed in Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, to surround yourself with one of the most distinguished groups of British actors currently working?
Yeah, they're great, huh? They're a wonderful, wonderful group. Yeah, I thought it was a good idea. It's always a good idea, especially when you're doing an out-there character like Ace, an over-the-top thing, to have people who are very real around you. So, you know, I mean, the cast was amazing. There's really great people, Simon Callow and Ian McNeice. And it was really fun. It was really fun to work with those guys. And it did give it a kind of an international flavor, you know, that Bondian kind of flavor.
Ian McNeice is particularly fond of you.
Oh, he's great.
And articulate on what he takes to be the genius of Jim Carrey. Now, we're dealing with an actor here, not only from the Royal Shakespeare Company, but a man who, when he talks about comic timing, I said to Ian McNeice, in order to prepare to act with Jim Carrey, he had to go through Shakespeare, Shaw, Ibsen, O'Neill, and fortunately, Neil Simon, because he had done the Sunshine Boys.
Right.
Were you aware of Ian McNeice? Were you aware
No,
of Simon
I had no
Cowell?
idea. No idea. I just saw these people, you know, when they were casting, and you know, I loved it because it gave it that real feeling of this is a bigger movie than just, it's not Miami anymore, it's the world. So that's what I was going for.
But the other thing, Jim, when we don't talk about the distinguished British actors, male and female, who are in the movie, the other principals are from In Living Color.
Yeah, Tommy Davidson. He just showed up one day. No. I asked Tommy if he could do this thing. He said, oh, what is it? And I said, well, you just beat the crap out of me. And he said, be there. I guess apparently there's some hard feelings left over from the show.
Must have been overbilling.
Yeah.
I was also thinking of your screenwriter, director, and former pal, and the person with whom you shared a dressing room office on In Living Color.
Yeah. Steve Odekirk. Just one of the really hot comedy minds out there these days. And I've been so lucky to be surrounded with really talented people like that. You know, Steve and Judd Apatow, who wrote Cable Guy, and these guys have grown up with me. I mean, I grew up with Steve from the comedy clubs. One of the first gigs I did when I decided to throw it all away and call myself a performance artist. That's what you do when you're just starting up a new act, so it doesn't have to be funny. It's performance art. My next piece, you know. And you know, I got I did this gig with Steve, and halfway through the week, I was the headliner, and halfway through the week, they were asking him to headline, and they were saying, if Jim could just do his old stuff, we would, because they were conditioned to see the Henry Fonda Golden Pond piece, and but by the end of the week, people were actually calling back in and saying, who the hell is that weird guy, the guy that was just freaking the audience out? Who the hell was that? And it all turned around, but it was interesting. He was one of the guys I first gigged with when I started the new act.
And weren't you, in fact, were you on the development of the original Ace Ventura when you were still on A Living Color and Doug was in the room with you?
Yeah, and Steve.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Steve. And you turned to him for input, you say?
Oh yeah, no, he had a lot of input even on the first one. We worked together. So I mean, but yeah, I was on the first one. I was involved right from the get-go of the rewrite, and Steve did this one, by himself. I just came in at the end and messed everything up, wrecked it all.
There's something else I wanted to point out. When the news hit the trade papers and then the regular press, that Jim Carrey would be paid $20 million for Cable Guy and would go from Cable Guy to Liar Liar, Mask 2, and it became important in the industry that actors like Sylvester Stallone very quickly signed deals
They sure
that
did,
guaranteed them more money. And Stallone was able to say weeks after the Jim Carrey announcement, Sylvester Stallone is now the highest paid actor in American movies.
Yeah.
Were you aware of the
what's
effect
funny?
you had?
Well, what's funny is, I had, when these deals came in, they literally said, we'll make you the highest paid actor ever. We'll give you 2 million or 21 million. We'll give you, whatever like that. And I went, well, isn't it just going to be perceived like I'm really going for the most money of anybody, kind of thing? Or we'll give you a couple of dollars over so that you can say you're the highest paid or whatever. But that's not what the focus is. So
What is the focus, Jim?
the focus is scene to scene, scene to scene. It's the work. All of this other stuff is great, but it's really. Actually, it's the weirdest thing. I really like rest when I'm working. That's when I get the kind of a break, because every other time is like, okay, we got to do this, we got to go there, we got to do this, we got to go there. You got to talk to him. You got to sit down. There's a script over here. I've got 3-4 scripts out there being developed at the same time, so you can never let anything go, because your name is on it. But now it's the work. If I'm not doing good work, I'm going to be the unhappy rich guy, and I do want to be happy. I do want to always look at it and go, I didn't do that for the money. I haven't done anything for the money so far.
Pause.
Cage.